and I will talk about cognitive dissonance, which is my favorite thing. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye. Cool. It's 9:30 already. Let's do like 2 more. I already did 3 or 4. Cool is 4, 2, 1, castle. 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, castle. 1, 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 1, castle. I only have 1 castle star. What should I do next? I should really do... Oh, let's go to the Boo world. How many stars do I need to get to the second one? Okay, ready? We'll start it now because I have something to say about the... I wonder how you do that glitch. Okay, we can start it now. I always see the speedrunners do this glitch where they... I wonder how they do it. Where they jump and then go backwards into the stairs and then they fly up the stairs. How do they do that? Probably witchcraft. Oh! That seemed close, didn't it? Oh. Let's try one more time. No, I want to actually get it. Come on. I remember as a kid, someone told me if you catch this Boo, you get a star. I wonder with the internet now if that's still a thing, like if kids still like make stuff up about games. Like I mentioned when I was playing Pokemon, like if you hold down A and B when you throw a Pokeball, it increases your chances of catching, which it doesn't, but everybody always said it did. And maybe if we had the internet, we wouldn't have believed them. I don't know. But kids don't go on the internet that much, do they? Who knows? I remember my cousins weren't allowed to play this level because it was scary or whatever. There were ghosts. My parents were never that strict about it. Ouch. I might need the invisibility thing. Oh, I wanted to talk about cognitive dissonance, which is my new favorite thing. It's like, I guess I was thinking about it more recently because I saw a thing about, on Reddit, about like how these scientists created a game that helps you not believe fake news stories, like which I guess is a big problem for people on Facebook, mostly older people. They just believe like crazy stuff online. And then even when you tell them like, oh, this story's fake, they'll say something like, whatever, like, I still believe that the sentiment is true, or like, the story isn't true, but like similar things happen, or something like that. So I was thinking about it. I mean, I don't have a degree in psychology or anything. I just know about it from reading stuff online, I guess. When was the first time I heard about it? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. So the main idea is, okay, I've never had to explain it, but let's see how I do. Your brain will, I guess there's a lot of different ways to explain it. This is where my head goes immediately, so it might not be totally right. Your brain doesn't want to be wrong, or I guess it wants to protect you from being wrong all the time. I can go into that more. Oh, did I get all the booze? I can go into the specifics more because I have more to say about that later, but your brain doesn't like to be wrong. So you'll say something that's wrong, that's like factually wrong, or you'll do something and your reasoning will be wrong when you have to explain it. Oh, I should have come up with some examples before I started this. The examples are really interesting. I guess you could just look them up online. I think maybe I saw... The thing that maybe made me interested in it was like a Minefield episode, which is like a YouTube show. One of the YouTube Red shows. Where he did cognitive dissonance. I'm really not doing a good job here. But it's super interesting. It's like the most interesting and important psychological thing, I feel like. I'm doing the Michael Scott thing. I'm watching The Office a lot. Like sometimes I start a sentence and I just don't know where I'm going to go with it. So you'll say or do something, and then you'll explain it like that's what you, even if that's something you don't believe. I don't want to do a political example, but that's the one that's coming to my mind right away. So I guess it's a pretty good example. Like, my dad voted for I forget what you have to do here. Donald Trump in 2016. And I remember talking to him a little bit about it, and he was kind of joking about Donald Trump becoming president. Like, isn't this a joke? Like, how can this guy be president? He's gonna be awful. Can't we get a better... He always votes for Republicans, so he's like, can't we get a better Republican to vote for? But he's like, okay, there's two bad choices, so I'll just vote for the Republican because whatever. That's what I always do. And so recently, whenever he talked about him after he became president, he talked a lot differently. Like, he was giving him credit for a lot of stuff, and he was being like, I remember my aunt kind of brought up why she doesn't like him, and he wasn't totally pushing back on what she said, but he was like, she was being like, he's arrogant and he's stupid, and my dad was like, well, confidence can be a good thing. It was so interesting to hear him say that, because I knew before he had voted for him that he thought that he was arrogant and stupid, but he was defending him after he had voted for him because it wouldn't make sense for him to have done that if he had thought those things. So kind of retroactively, his brain is changing and saying, like, I voted for Donald Trump, so I must like him. Otherwise, why would I have done that? Why would I have voted for him if I thought he was stupid? Okay, I'm kind of getting the idea of it. I think that's a good example. Secret of the Haunted Books. I think that's upstairs. And like, it's everybody has this problem, but once you know about it, it's really goes a long way to helping you see it in yourself. It's a bias. I took a logic class in college. We didn't talk about it that much. Wrong. Okay. I think it's like just considered a bias. Is it? Oh, that's the secret. I can't think of really any time that's happened to me. It's definitely happened a lot. I just can't think of anything specific right now. I really want to talk more about it because it's like super interesting. Maybe I'll like Wikipedia it and it will jog my memory during the next break. So with this fake news thing, I guess it kind of reminded me of it, even though it's not. I don't want to do this. It's not exactly the same thing. Oh, I have the hat, so let's go downstairs. I think it's 30 stars. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem connected, the fake news thing. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job. I was on a roll with that example, but I can't. feel like I have noticed it, like I did notice myself doing it once, and it kind of like blew my mind, like how am I believing this thing that I know I don't actually believe? And it's cognitive dissonance. I remember hearing a reasoning, like evolutionary, for it, and I don't really remember that reasoning too well either, but there was a reason. I know that. I think it had to do with like, well, I mean, the obvious thing is like your brain just doesn't, it likes to have things make sense. So if you do something that doesn't make sense, your brain comes up with a reason, like it makes you think that there is a reason for why you did what you did. So that you don't go crazy or something. Oh no. I think you should get in the tornado to get that one. Maybe I can Google cognitive dissonance real quick. No, I don't think it's gonna happen. I remember, I just thought of another memory on this level. Me and my brother were playing this level in this star, and we were having trouble getting to the top, and I think maybe like I fell asleep, and when I woke up the next morning, he was talking about like how he finally got up there and he got the star. It was like a Sunday morning, and I woke up and he's like, he was all excited or something, like I got up there. Or maybe it was the level where you blow up the top of the pyramid. That seems more exciting. Got it. Oh, yes. Here we go. Yeah, you can watch a video on cognitive dissonance because it's super important for being a good person inside the pyramid. And everybody does it. That's the important thing to remember. If you don't know about it, you're gonna do it. The only way to kind of stop is to think about it. Well, I guess once in a while, just think about, am I in a situation where I'm doing something like this? I'm trying to think of the minefield episode. I think he kind of whoops. He forced them somehow to do something they didn't, or to say. Maybe he had them like read a script about something, and then after they had read the script, they believed whatever they had said more than if they had not read the script. I think that was it. I don't remember the specific thing, but it was really interesting. Ooh. I don't know, if I was a better person, I would have brought it up to my dad, but I don't know how, I don't know how I would bring it up without sounding like kind of a jerk. because he knows I voted for the Democrats, so maybe he would think like, well, you're just saying this because you didn't like who I voted for. But I want to tell him, like, you don't really like this guy. Like, it's okay to not like him. Even though you voted for him, you don't have to agree with everything he says. I'm gonna, look up a video and watch it. And I'm gonna look it up after and try to be smarter about it. Look at that jump. Where do I go? Is it just the top? I think. I remember I was probably in 5th or 6th grade again when I got all the stars in this game for the first time. And I remember it being like such a big deal to me. And I went to tell my brother, like, I did it, I got all the stars. And there was one level, I think it's TikTok Clock, that's really hard to get 100 coins. And once I did that, I was like, I remember my brother couldn't even do this. So I went in to tell him, and he's like, so what, that's like a kid's game. So what, you beat it? Who cares? And I was like, oh yeah, it is a kid's game. Stand tall. Oh yeah, I know that one. How do I get up there? I think you're supposed to triple jump. I actually didn't have a lot of notes. I have one about The Office. Yeah, I guess I mentioned how I was kind of surprised how much I liked it, rewatching it. I don't know why. It's definitely one of my favorite shows. Yep. There was an episode in the 5th season that I didn't like, and I was starting to get worried, like, oh, is this where it gets bad? But there have been episodes since then that I've liked a lot. There was one joke I remember I didn't like, where it was kind of funny. I guess, don't take my hat. What have you done? I need that. I got it. Oh, we changed directions at the last second. Okay. I guess Michael's like, what are you gonna do if one day I walk in to the office and I'm dead? It was kind of a funny Michael joke. And then Dwight's like, I stab you in the head with a wooden stick. I think that's a good joke, but they kind of ruin it when they do the cutaway to Dwight, and he's like, there are a lot of ways to kill a zombie, but the best way is to stab it in the head with a wooden stick. I feel like that kind of ruins the joke. So I was kind of worried, like, uh-oh, did they kind of forget how to do this, when they should do the, what are they called, like, cutaways to, like, where the talking heads, do they feel like they're obligated to do talking heads even when they shouldn't? I kind of felt like sometimes they would do that in 30 Rock, where they'd be like, okay. The show, every episode they have to do a couple, like, cutaway gags. So sometimes they're like, well, the episode doesn't really need any of those cutaway gags, or so they kind of force them in. And you can tell they're kind of like forcing them. I know they're never funny. And like the setup is always kind of lame, like enforced. Oh, let me just stand up. What? I want to learn more about these ancient ones. I guess the best way to do those talking heads is like just to get exposition out of the way so that you can get in more jokes instead of doing jokes in the talking heads. Those always kind of seem forced. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. I never actually really like the jokes, like, in the talking heads that much. I guess I kind of mentioned it before, like, it is kind of, does feel like it's cheating to just, like, put the camera on the character and have them be able to say a joke, say whatever they want, say what they're thinking. You're not allowed to do that in any other show, so it seems kind of like cheating. So that's why I think it feels like you've got to have a really good joke to put it in a talking head. Otherwise, it feels like cheating. So it's got to be really good. Like, if you want to say a race joke, it's got to be really good. Otherwise, it's going to be racist. It's got to be so funny that people don't really care about it being racist, that they can't help but laugh. I guess I'll do this one and then stop after that. I don't know, I guess I'm kind of doing like a stream of consciousness thing, where like if I just think of something, I just want to talk about it. That's the goal, right, is to just talk as much as possible, because I don't really talk during the day that much. I'm gonna run out of this hat soon. I was thinking about George Carlin. He he had a bit that I didn't really like. And it made me kind of not like him. It was about like fat people and how they're gross and when they eat food and stuff. I mean, he's just funny and smart and everything, but I think he can be too mean sometimes to be funny for me. And I don't know. It wasn't funny enough to make fun of fat people. All he was saying was like, isn't it gross how fat people just shovel food into their mouths? And they're gross and fat, and isn't that gross? and the audience was dying, and I was like, okay, this isn't that funny to make fun of fat people this much. You need a really, really good joke in order for me to be like, especially if I'm not a fat person, to laugh at fat people. It needs to be like so funny that I think even fat people couldn't help but laugh at it. I guess that's why I don't know, I'm just thinking about why fat people are kind of allowed to tell fat jokes more, even if they're not funny. I guess there's a layer of just like self-deprecation on top of that makes it a little extra funnier. So even if the joke, so if a fat person said that George Carlin joke, it would be funnier just because there's that extra layer of them making fun of themselves on top of it. So I guess that's why fat people, I'm saying fat people too much. Overweight, weight challenged. That's not good. Don't say that. There's a form of like people do that, like belittling kind of, where it's like they make fun of the culture of like trying to be nice to people's feelings. So you don't say words that could be hurtful. So that's kind of what I just did, and I don't like that I did that. You should always keep other people's feelings in mind. No. Oh, what a save. Kick save and a butte. Oh yeah, there's a right quite in there. Don't take my hat. Oof. He wants my hat. He's hungry for that hat. Oh. Okay, hear me out. There's a Mario-themed breakfast cereal that's hats. And the bird is the mascot, and he always wants to eat those hats. How's that for an idea? That's $1 million idea, I think. Boom, 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 boom. Where is that? I think I have 7. Where's the last one? Oh, you know what? It could be in here. Yep. that last coin? Ah, I remembered. I remembered. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Nice and slowly. Perfect. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say about The Office. I really like it. I think it may be the most popular sitcom in like the past 20 years, so I'm not alone there. I only really like popular stuff. I think I'm basic. I'm basic. Okay. Ooh, next time I will go and beat Bowser, and then maybe I'll stop after that. Okay. See you tomorrow. Okay.